One Piece. This is One Piece chapter 1158, Rocks versus Herald. We start off with a pretty crazy cover page this week. Last we left off with Yamato's Golden Harvest surrogate pilgrimage. He was visiting a grave by an unnamed samurai who was killed by Kaido and left behind no body. In this chapter, we found out exactly who that grave is. And the grave belongs to Kozuki Moria. Bro.
How do you... Wait, what? How'd you know?
Look at the cover page. It says...
Yeah, it's on the side. Like
there's a translation on the side.
What does that mean? Like Moria the pirate?
Moria
it means
the pirate.
Gecko Moria is a Kozuki.
Yeah, it means that Moria is a relative of Odin's.
What? So Moria's descendant. No, not descendant, because Kaido's not that old. I mean, like, Moria's like dad or grandfather got killed basically by Kaido.
Yeah.
Or are they talking about Moria himself when he lost to Kaido?
Yeah, a long time ago,
And then
Moria fought Kaido on Wano, and he lost.
It was at Wano?
I think so, yeah. Because he would have been there.
Wow.
So that's pretty crazy, huh? Moria's got ties to Momonosuke, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, I can only imagine what that means in the overall picture of things, but wow, what a cover page.
Yeah, that's a pretty big deal. It raises just so many questions about Moria because he's so not a guy from Wano that it's kind of intense.
Yeah.
So hopefully we get expanded upon that. Maybe Moria was just like a younger guy who left and came back after hearing that Kaido killed his dad or something, and then he lost. That's pretty nuts. That's I had to sit with that for a while.
Damn. That makes Moria I don't think he's irredeemable.
Moria?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so either. I mean,
he's done bad things, but he hasn't, like, enslaved an entire...
He hasn't done that.
Country, or like... I mean, he's done horrible things to people, but,
Well, Moria has been shown to be fairly loyal. He went all the way to Pirate Island to get Absalom.
And then lost.
Yes, he did lose.
Again.
He got so enraged that they killed Absalom that he attacked like the Blackbeard pirates. So, there's some good in Moria. There's a little bit of a conscience in there, even though he's been jaded by his loss to Kaido. But anyway, very excited to find out what this fucking means, because that's a pretty big reveal. We are continuing in our flashback of the Great Pirate Era, or before the Great Pirate Era, where we're in Roger and Rox's age, and we're seeing them all as young people, young pirates going around clashing and doing stuff. And we open up with this chapter on Roger's ship. Actually, we see that Roger is pissed off for some reason. We don't know why, and the reason being is that Rayleigh apparently got a letter from Shaki that asked him to come get her at Pirate Island, and showing Roger that has salty. Showing Roger has made him very salty indeed. But But they know that Shaki's on Pirate Island, so they're all gonna go and visit her. Meanwhile, slightly earlier in time, and this is at this point 40 years from the present date, we see that Saint Garling has shown up to the Five Elders' chambers, and he is explaining about this nation that he found, which is unaffiliated and has its own unique culture. And it's a nation that he tried to recruit into the world government, but he could not get them to agree to join. And he is telling the elders that the island is rich in resources that would be a great benefit, and he recommends that this island would be the next place where they have their big competition. And he says that, and this island is none other than God Valley. Boy, oh boy, I think we're gonna get to see God Valley, boys. I think we're gonna get to see God Valley. I'm so fucking excited. So yeah, apparently God Valley is going to be taking place 2 years from the time of this flashback at this current juncture. So it would have happened 38 years from the present timeline. We cut back to Shaki's bar on Pirate Island. She's basically doing her patented terrible service. This has been dropped. At this point, Shaki goes up to Rox and is like, "You seem so fulfilled. If I didn't know any better, you may have lost interest in me." And yeah, the pirates around him, Big Mom's there. She's basically, "Well, see, a woman's intuition can be scary." And Rox yells at everybody to pipe down because it's supposed to be a secret. And we hear Stussy think to herself that it's not just a woman that got Rox. That's the face of a new father. So at this point, Teach has been born. That's very exciting. It's at that point Roger and his crew pull up to the bar. Rox gets pissed and tells him, "It's like, hey, this is my island. How many times do I have to tell you?" But Roger's like, "Hey, this is Shaki's place, so there's no fighting between customers." And it turns out that's not actually Roger did not exactly follow that rule, since he and his crew beat up everybody who was outside waiting to get in. Shaki basically pulls up to Roger and asks him where Rayleigh is, and Roger explains that Rayleigh stayed on the ship, because he's not feeling well or whatever. Gloriosa tries to simp for Roger. Roger does not show the interest back. Yeah, at that point we see Shaki fall over, getting that patented love sickness from not being able to see Rayleigh. We learn from the narrator that by Shaki's own decree, anyone who visited her bar were forbidden to fight on the island. So nobody was allowed to fight on Pirate Island, even if they hated each other. But at sea, it was a different story. At that point, we then cut back to Elbaf, where we see that Rox is locked in battle with Harold, who was given the ultimatum that Elbaf would be allowed to join the government if they killed Rox for the government. And Rox is understandably very heartbroken by this. He's yelling about how could you let the government get inside your head like that? And Harold is like, is it so important that you kill your friend to make it happen? You're just falling in line. And he explains that, they only see you as military force to be harnessed. They'll turn you into slaves and call you soldiers. Where's your pride gone? What does your free will say? And Harold explains that the history of violence that came from Elbaf is nothing but a shackle that weighs Elbaf down now that we may seek the way of peace. And he remembers all the times that, he goes to different countries and, people have shown, apprehension to be accepting of giants because of their history, because they've been pillaged by giants in the past. And he explains to Rox that, no matter how foolish and impetuous the celestial dragons may be, they have the power to usher Elbaf into the circle of the world. No longer will we be on the outside. And Rox gets really pissed at this. He delivers the fishy blow. He doesn't kill him, but he does like knock Harold on his ass. And he yells at him saying that, you know, the talks are off and that he would never invite Harold again to join the Rox pirates. And Harold, you know, shoots back that he's
You soft coward.
yeah, he calls him a soft coward. And Harold shoots back that he is the king and he can't risk his people's lives on a losing battle of a villain like him. And just like that, they are no longer friends, which is sad. We cut back to the West Blue 39 years ago in a place called God Valley. There's a woman with a stroller walking down the street, and everybody is kind of pining after her, saying, like, "Oh my God, they're so adorable. They've got your red hair." We only hope that they can turn out as wise as you were too. Without their father around, we'll have to help. And they ask for their names, and we see two little babies in the stroller named Shanks and Shamrock. And boy, oh boy, that is where the chapter ends. Wow. Josh, what did you think about One Piece chapter 1158?
This is not my RGC, unfortunately. It's really close though. Okay, I have questions. Shamrock Fingerlin, right? Like it's confirmed that his last name is Fingerlin.
Yeah, that's what he was introduced as. So it's possible that Fingerland, you know, conceived these kids and then left like a fucking deadbeat.
Or he adopted them.
You know, or he adopted Shamrock. That's
But he looks
tough.
just like in that picture earlier in the chapter.
They
he
look
looks
just like him.
them.
They look
Yeah,
like
that's
look
their
like him.
dad. All right, that's their dad.
Yeah. Just another deadbeat dad in the world of One Piece.
Yeah. I'm starting to lose faith in the fact that that Amazonian queen is Luffy's mom.
Tritoma?
Yeah, Tritoma. She died of love sickness.
She did.
That's what's said.
But we don't know when.
I don't think if she had a child, she would have died of love sickness, unless they lied about that because she died while giving birth or something like that. Like Rouge.
She's Crocodile. I know it in my heart. I know it in my heart that is Crocodile. There has to be some significance to like him owing Ivankov something.
Yeah, but I don't buy that.
Why does you have to link that to Luffy?
I don't think that's. I don't think that makes him Tritoma's. I don't think that makes him Tritoma. There would. I mean, I don't know if Ivankov's powers also mind wipe you, but I don't think Crocodile would be completely unaffected by seeing his son.
Well, Tritoma doesn't have to be Luffy's mom, but
That's what I'm saying. Okay, so maybe Tritoma. In that case, if Tritoma is not Luffy's mom, then I think it's entirely possible that Tritoma could be Crocodile.
And her dying of love sickness was actually her running away and changing into Crocodile.
yeah.
Perhaps.
By the way, quick little side note: somebody predicted Kozuki Moria 7 years ago. By the way,
I think I saw something like that.
which is I don't know how the fuck you even think of that. Somebody predicted that Moria was a Kozuki 7 years ago.
I don't know. Some
I
people.
don't even know
Is it
how.
because
the
of
fuck
how he
got
looked
that.
early on?
No.
Well,
apparently
even
there's, like, a
early
bunch
on,
of
he
shit.
didn't look like he looked like he does now, just like less fat in the flashback. But anyway, go on, Josh.
I don't really have much more to add, to be honest. I guess that's why I wasn't really RGC for me because it was a cool chapter, but I'm just kind of reading along what's happening. I don't have much to say. That intro panel, the cover page that's a pretty big shock. I'll say this: I feel Rocks. I feel Rocks a lot in this situation because he's literally telling him like, "Bro, you're gonna join the government and they're gonna use you guys as as fucking soldiers," which is the opposite of what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
I understand what Harold is saying. Like, I don't want to go out in a losing fight, but don't say you don't want to have your people use this. You want to break the shackles of, their warring past after knowing they're gonna, you know what I'm saying?
They're
After
basically gonna use you to
accepting that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
He can't
exactly.
be that. He's as hopeful as he is. Like Rux really has a point with that.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't have to quite join Rocks, but I hope he's wise enough to understand that that's not the right move. I'm really intrigued by King Harold and the decisions he makes because he doesn't die until recently, right? He didn't. He
Maybe
got
not recently, but
assassinated just a few years ago, right?
it's hard to tell just because how long giants live. But yeah, I guess it would have to be somewhat recently because we're already like 40 years apart from our present point. So it's possible, he died after Roger or maybe right before Roger.
True. I didn't think about that. I thought it maybe happened like a couple years ago or something like that, or maybe a few months ago.
It's tough to say. Yeah, it's tough to say. I want to go back to you keep going. I want to see if they mention like that one panel where he's getting stabbed by, the government. I want to see if they explain what time period that was. So you guys can continue with your thoughts. So I'll cut in.
So I'll just keep going as far as like how King Harold feels like in this next page, page 14. He's taking it back on the various islands he stopped at, talking to different like countries, saying just overall rejecting allianceship or whatever it is that he's trying to seek with them. And I think that's pressuring him to seek legitimacy via the world government so that these countries will accept them. But I think if he just respects the fact that people feel a way about them and maybe they could just do their own thing and be peaceful and let time pass, eventually humans will, especially since giants live long enough. I know it's harder to think about that in the time, but King Harold is already mad old. Definitely older than me right now. So like, nigga, you should be thinking about these type of things, bro.
Hold on.
You're king.
I found it. So Harold died 14 years ago from the present timeline.
Wow.
So someone recently indeed.
When Luffy was a kid.
Yeah, Luffy was alive at that point. But yeah.
I also don't think that Loki's going to join the crew.
At least not the main one. I also don't think he joins the main
it's going to be
crew.
a fleet.
I think he's a fleet guy for sure.
Yeah.
He's going to join Hadrian's squad.
Yeah, I think he's going to join Hadruden for sure.
Yeah. And the craziest thing is that Jinbei's arrival on the crew is what solidified it the most for me. Like reading like back, where I'm at now in the story, they made it was such a hassle for Jinbei to finally join the crew, and his presence on the crew really completes everything. He's a wiser person to fall back on, so it's not just Brooke, who's more whimsical anyway, and he's a helmsman. Like he can massively control the ship that's been built to perfection, etc. This is it. They got the formula. Everybody else is the fleet. And Jinbei, they already knew Jinbei was going to be on the crew before the fleet was established. So I think everything post fleet is just like anybody that's going to join up, it's fleet. Yamato, fleet. Rebecca, fleet. Rebecca and Kairo's fleet.
Carrot.
Bro, everybody
fleet.
else, nigga. Carrot, the Minx, fleet. The Genius Man, Einstein,
Vegapunk, fleet.
Vegapunk, fleet. Okay. When Luffy knocks out all of these super elders or whatever the fuck they're called, I forgot their name already.
The 5 elders.
These chumps, and gets rid of when he gets rid of all these cornballs like on Elbaf and all the giants, fleet. Guess what? Yeah, back to war. But they'll be free. They're doing it of their own choice.
Mm-hmm. They're doing it for a good cause.
Son Luffy's a don. He pulled up on Gang Beige and told him what time it was. That was when Gang Beige took his big boy pants off and passed them to Luffy. From that moment forward. Guess what, Beige?
These are my Don
Free.
pants. You could have them now.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what happened. Anyway, Brian, what were your thoughts?
Pretty chill chapter. Lots of fucking crazy ass lore drops, which is going so fast. You could tell that maybe they actually do intend to end the series at some point with how fast information is kind of being tossed at us. But man, honestly, I don't know how I'd feel about finding out about God Valley through this flashback specifically. I feel like maybe he should save it for Blackbeard's or Shanks's. Just
they
because
weren't there. How they? But they weren't there.
Yes, they were.
Shanks is a baby.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Oh, well, I don't know. I guess it doesn't matter. What I think is going to happen is that we'll see some of God Valley. I don't think we'll see the whole thing, to be honest. We might see how Rox dies in it. We might see how Shanks ended up on Roger's ship and Shamrock didn't.
Yeah. Right. Something I noticed. The split in the mountain was not a result of the God Valley fight. Because it's there like that already.
Yeah. It was there before it started.
That's confirmed. Yeah.
But yeah, honestly, I don't have too many thoughts. Not a fan of Harold. To be honest, he's a bit of a cringe lord.
He looks like Walter White.
Jesse, I want to be accepted by the world government, Jesse.
Jesse.
Oh
yeah, I don't have too many thoughts. That's it for me.
Man, I enjoyed this chapter. I really do just love the casualness of this era. It really does. Every chapter I see Roger and I just wonder about him more. You know, he's just kind of a guy that's around, and his ship just seems to be a traveling, fucking van of fuckboys that just hang out on the seas with no particular goal in mind. Like Rox is out here trying to change the world, and Roger's just trying to get with Shocky the entire time so far.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't really think about it like that.
It's
I don't think he found the one.
No, this is way before he found the One Piece.
Raftel. Well, he left. The One Piece is his thing.
At this point, he doesn't
find Raftel yet.
At this point, he probably doesn't even know about Raftel, because he learns about that way later in life when he meets Odin, and he asks him to translate the road poneglyphs.
Oh, that is way later. You're right.
Mhm. It's definitely way after
Oh,
Rock
this is such
God
a
Valley.
great fucking series.
Yeah,
This is the best series.
you know.
If only Hunter x Hunter was still around. He'd be
Yeah.
in the dark content by now for sure.
Oh yeah.
They'd be fighting fucking dinosaurs that have Nen abilities.
The series would probably be over by now.
Well, we don't know that for sure. Brian.
Chill
with that,
bro. Chill with that. It
Chill
could
with
have had
that, Brian.
1,000 chapters. You have no idea.
You have
bro.
no idea, Brian. You don't know what it's capable of. You know what Takashi can do.
Yeah. He might have a sudden miracle health resurgence.
He
and
is
then
working on new
start
chapters.
Cranking out 2 chapters a week.
He has been working on new chapters. He's been dropping like photos of the finished chapters that he's completed so far. So, you know, soon he'll come back with like 20 chapters again, and then it'll just be out again.
Can't wait.
Can't wait. But anyway, One Piece.
Yeah.
I find myself more intrigued by Roger every time I see him, because you know he is a serious pirate, you know, but he also is just kind of a goofball. He doesn't really have a particular goal yet. I mean, you know, we know that Roger's entire goal was just like the same as Luffy's, is just to be able to go anywhere and, you know, be free essentially. And he is doing that. I guess he is living that life. He's doing whatever he wants. So that's pretty cool. I'm hoping we get to see a little bit more from Roger, but obviously this is not necessarily his flashback. It's primarily the Elbaf flashback, but also because Rox was such a big part of Elbaf's history that we get to see him a lot more as well. So that's been cool. I feel for Harold. You know, this is not the best position to take, especially given he knows how fucking shitty the Celestial Dragons are. But I feel like, you know, he has the same kind of thing that the Fishmen did, where like they are outcasts of this world, and all they ever want is to be part of society and be part of something bigger than themselves. And you can't do that when you're fucking around with Rox, who just seemingly wants to destroy everything. I don't know. It's a tough thing. I think he's trying to do what's best for his people, but this is also not what's best for his people. But you know what? He doesn't pull it off. We know that Elbaf is not affiliated with the world government yet. So, and worse off, they killed him. So, something went wrong. I think Harold has a change of heart at some point and double crosses the world government in some level. And that's why they killed him in the end. So I'm excited to see what that is and what the turncoat is. I wonder if it has something to do with protecting Teach. Because my thing is that what if we know that Roger leaves Luffy, or Roger leaves Ace with Garp. What if Rox left Teach with Harold? It's interesting. I don't know. I don't know.
With no mention from anybody else of Teach, though.
That's true. Hey, I mean, I'm spitballing out here. I think I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I think I'm wrong about that. I'm not entirely
One thing I want to
convinced.
bring up is that they said this was St. Garland. He said he made a discovery that he never expected to make, something preposterous, and that the Great One would be pleased with it, I'm sure. And that's why he recommends God Valley.
Yeah, God
wonder
Valley
what
seems to
it
have
is
a lot of shit people want. You know?
His resources. Maybe there's like a ton of devil fruits there or something like that.
Well, you know, that's why Rox shows up, is because the 2 fruits he wanted are there.
Yeah, maybe it's a whole grove.
Maybe
of
God Valley
devil
is where
fruits.
the devil fruits grow. I think
That would be pretty insane.
Brian, what do you think? Am I cooking right now?
Well, they were giving up devil fruits as prizes, so there's a chance. But
Am I cooking?
devil fruits Devil fruits can grow anywhere, though.
Yeah, devil
is the thing.
fruits. Well, yeah, the trees grow anywhere, but maybe this is the highest concentration of where devil fruits grow.
Maybe
I'm not
maybe
sure.
it's just there's a ton of them. So that I mean, and that's obviously a ton of power that they can use with the soldiers. Because tons of soldiers have fruit abilities.
Because we know of two already that were there. We know the
Similar
pawpaw
to what
fruit was
Kaido's
there.
doing.
We know the pawpaw fruit was there, and we know Kaido's fruit was there. And we know that those two couldn't have been what Rocks was after. So there had to be two other devil fruits that are there that Rocks really wanted.
So that's 4 fruits.
There's 4 fruits off the
in
bat that
general.
are there.
Like just off
But then again, they could also be, like Brian mentioned, prizes that the government was giving off for, the competition. If you win, you get the pawpaw fruit. If you win, you
True
get
that.
Kaido's fruit. So
But I'm still wondering what it was that he found.
Yeah,
I guess all we be doing is speculating.
yeah, I don't particularly have a preference of how much or when I see God Valley. I just want to see it so bad. I just want to see it.
I'm chill on it, bro. I'm just like whenever it gets here, I'm ready to just
Yeah,
receive the story.
yeah, me too. Me too. I'll be patient. I'm not gonna freak out if I don't see it, but I do want to see it so bad. Yeah, One Piece is also not my RGC this week, which is crazy because this has been a great chapter. I love the lore. It's been Lauren pretty hard this chapter, but just not enough of Lauren to get me over the edge there in terms of the RGC. Maybe next week when we see God Valley, I'll give it an automatic RGC. But so far, One Piece has been fucking awesome, and I wish we could stay in this era forever. To be honest, I'm chilling right now. This is great.